Kyla and Douglas Gabriel here for the American Intelligence Media. Today, folks, we're coming to you to ask you for your help. Douglas and I, since 2015, have been daily sending you updates on what we have found to be the truth of our world. It first started out with us doing some early reports on false flags, what they were, how to identify them. Then it ramped up. In 2016, we did everything we could to get the energy level going to put Trump into office. Although then we found out that the swamp was totally corrupt. And if you were with us, you saw every single day the research that we were doing to pull up the reasons why America has fallen and seemed so far astray from what the Constitution says we should be. As we got closer to 2017, we discovered that there was a huge theft with social media, which led us to find Michael McKibben, who is the real inventor of social media networking. When we found Michael, the story became even more important to tell everyone. So we did everything we could to be on every platform. And of course, we are bootstrapping it. We're just retired educators. We are master teachers, but we were just doing what we could in the internet to teach as many people around the world as we could. But today we've reached a point where we feel that to grow bigger and to get our message out bigger, we need help from you.
Well, as you say, we started off by ourselves. And then what I found interesting was that everyone wanted to join in. And so we've had so many volunteers over the years. It is unbelievable. So many collaborations, so many people that we've connected with. We've created quite a network. Matter of fact, we make the reference to the group that I work with and sometimes call them the conclave, the group that you work with, the team. The group that Michael McKibben works with is not only the staff writers at Americans for Innovation, but it's Mike and the miners. Now, these miners, though we make a bit of a joke about it, we're very serious. These are people all over the world, all coordinated, working together to uncover the truth. And what we found was IBM Eclipse Foundation's theft of social networking from Leader Technologies is the crux of our modern times. And it absolutely brings into stark contrast the difference between truth and the lies that are accepted today. Matter of fact, we live in the post-truth age, and they actually call it in politics falsehood politics. You're allowed to lie. And so if you don't have the capability for astounding discernment, then when you look at a history book, you may be quite confused to see that what the history books say are so different than what has happened in modern life.
No, actually, we have found that the history that we studied in schools really was just indoctrination by the British Pilgrim Society. And that's why you have so many Americans walking around clueless as to what is going on. But we need to change that. It wasn't enough just to bring you the news. Now our next mission is to make sure that there is a truth history book, online book, that anyone in the world can access to get the real history. Now, we already have that available, and you can see the link right here on the screen. You can go and you can get that material, but we want to build it. We want to make sure that it is rich and that it can be used for generations to come. Because if our next generations live on the lies that we have been told, we are never going to make it out of this calamity. So what we're asking for today is your support. Now, as I mentioned before, we have been doing this on our own. Last year, it cost me out of pocket about, a little over $100,000. It's getting to be about $150,000. So that's why our ask is for you to pitch in and to help us. And what does that $150,000 do? It helps to support the miners. I mean, they have to work to pay the light bill. We have to support them financially. It goes to help. We just put in 2 servers. All of our blogs take money. And of course, there are the external resources that we use when we ask other people to create material for us. But recently, we had an experience with someone who filmed an incredible film that Michael and Douglas did, only to see how damaging the truth would be to the globalists. So they took that and they shelved it. Well, we're tired of this. We have the talent. Mike and Douglas are amazing researchers, and they love being in front of the camera. And we have the time and the ability. We also know some fantastic filmmakers out there. But what we don't have is the money to pay those filmmakers. Once we get these products made, we can send them out through our downline, and they can reach all over the world. And the most important thing in fighting information warfare is to make sure that everyone has truth. We're master teachers, so for us, it came very natural to want to teach people what the truth was. But Mike is a civil engineer by trade. And what he likes to do is to go in to edifices, large edifices, and find out where the weaknesses are. Well, he did. And he's done that research for 20 years. And what he's come up to tell us is the edifice cannot be saved. It must be totally demolished. Now, we want to build it up based upon truth. So if you can reach into your wallet and help us out, whatever you can afford, we don't want you to be uncomfortable. However, if you have the money to provide a significant donation to us, please make it. This is the time. We're running out of time. We have got to bring more people into the Truth Network than what we have been able to do by ourselves.
And that type of collaboration costs money. We want to have people come in, as we've done so many times before, myself especially with foundations, that we bring together the greatest minds that we can. We have a conference, we record it, we create even a documentary if it's on a subject that is extremely apropos to our time, which usually they are. And then we can actually, in the past, we produce books. Now it's not about producing books. Each time that we produce a book, it costs thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And Tyler and I have produced a book almost each year for the last 10 years. And we give those out for free in PDF form. And we have done all of our work for free. And we have basically, since the time that we were asked to write an article to demonstrate what we were saying to someone was perception management. In other words, brainwashing to convince you of the false propaganda, the false narrative. And so we started as teachers writing articles, trying to teach others how to see through to find the truth. But as many of you subscribers know, I have a degree in history. Unfortunately, the research that we've done with Michael McKibben for the last few years has demonstrated that almost everything in the history books, they're at least slanted, if not absolute fake history. And now we can see that that's becoming even more exacerbated in American education. So this is one of the most noble projects that I've ever heard of. And just to indicate to you how this works, yesterday I was working on an article about bankers. And someone told me that the Warburgs came from Venice. And so I researched and I researched and I researched. But as I did, the first thing I did is I plugged in a few queries. And 3 pages of articles that we have written, Aim for Truth and Americans for Innovation, popped up. 3 pages. Those are the articles you'll find on some of the most delicate subjects that people are not willing to address. But we address it and we provide the evidence so that you can see the timeline of crime that is being foisted as truth history. And now, as we just recently saw, a ministry of truth has been created by Biden to make sure that only the lies are propagated in the mainstream media. This is what we're fighting. This new book we're creating will be not only online, it'll have videos, it'll have conference records, it'll have all kinds of things of all types of media that will show you.
That's the plan, but we can make sure that the PDFs are available because we'll continue to do that work. But the extra things, the bells and whistles that we need, folks, to push this out so more people will see it, we need video. People watch great documentaries. And I was behind the camera when those young filmmakers were filming you guys. It was phenomenal. And then Wile E. Coyote even used the footage to raise over $1 million. Hey, let's raise $1 million for citizens to tell the truth and get truth history out there. And then we ask that everyone get a hard drive and download the material so that you can preserve it for your family and the future generations to come, because the truth of our history will not change if we set it straight in the record now. But the truth will be lost if we leave it to the truth ministry to give it out to schools and to children and to people.
The proof is in the pudding. We've already given you so much pudding. It's unbelievable. About 150 articles, 800 or more videos, 7 books, probably 20, 25 ebooks. All of them we've given to you to show you that we are trustworthy, and that if you really want the truth, all you have to do is go and plug in to our site a query, and you'll probably find an article on it already. But now what we wish to do is bundle them in a way that we recently did on any particular article, and then they basically become chapters in a book. And some of the content in that book were questions that our subscribers asked us, and we didn't even know the answer to. We didn't have any clue. It's like, what? Well, what is that? I don't know. We went, we researched, we found it out. And when we came back, it was so shocking that we can't keep the truth hidden. So if you want to be part of writing the new pages of truth history, that's what we're asking you to take part in. And we thank everyone who has been supporting this as a volunteer, which is literally, I don't know how many hundreds of people have helped us. And people have always said all along the way, Tyler and Douglas, can't we help you? Can't we become part of the group? You know how many people have begged me to become a member of the conclave?
Yeah, but it was important that we could stay away from shills, and we had to identify them, and we just had to keep it close. We didn't want to accept money and then feel obligated. We had to tell a story we didn't want to tell. So that's not it. Okay, in closing, there are 3 ways that you can help us. The first way is here, right here. You can see this is our new Gab site where you can give, send, and go. Go there. Make a donation, whatever you can afford. The second thing you can do, if you can't afford anything or you want to do it in addition, send us a prayer. All your prayers are there for others to see, and we deeply appreciate it. And for those of you who have the means, for those of you who have the bit of comfort like we do, because we planned right for our retirement, and you want to give to future generations that you very well might incarnate into, we ask you to give generously so we can get these projects off the ground. Thanks, everybody.